Okay.
Oh boy, this film. Yeah, so another film from last year that I wanted to review was Lucy. Why? Because it had Scarlett Johansson. I mean, come on. She's amazing. I really like Morgan Freeman's cool too. But really, it was Scarlett. And the fact that this was by Luke Besson, who did The Fifth Element, which I enjoyed, Leon the Professional, which I loved. Taken 2, which, yeah, okay. And apparently Transporter 2. Okay, well, the fact of the matter is, this was a first take at Lucy, so maybe it's sequels that he's not too good at, which isn't promising because apparently there's going to be a Lucy 2. Anyway, so this movie is about a woman who gets kind of caught up in this drug deal and is supposed to transport them through her body or what have you, and then through a series of beatings. That sounds bad, but basically they break within her. The drugs get released inside of her and she starts showcasing these powers, right? So that's the gist of it. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Acting wise, as much as I love Scarlett Johansson, I wasn't a fan of her character, Lucy, at the beginning. I thought she was trying to oversell it. Once she actually got the stuff going inside her and how it was changing her and everything, I bought into it a little more, but I could never fully buy into the character itself. Morgan Freeman is Morgan Freeman. He's there for just to be Morgan Freeman, pretty much, and so he doesn't do a horrible job, but he is just kind of there. The real standout for me, and pretty much the only person that was that big of a character in this, aside from Amar Waked, I didn't probably say that wrong, was Min Seek Choi. Probably said that wrong, sorry. Who plays Mr. Jang, who is kind of like a mob boss or what have you for the movie. And he's been in several other movies too. But he did a great job in this film, and especially when you find out that he can't speak English. So all these moments in the film where they're having these conversations, you can actually, you really buy into his acting, especially knowing that information. So I don't know, I think he did a great job. But as far as the film itself goes, it has some neat visuals here or there. Nothing too overwhelmingly impressive, but it does have some scenes where I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. And some of Lucy's powers, when they start going, I'm like, those are really cool powers. They're over the top. They're too powerful to a point where there's no connecting to her character, which is interesting because that's one of the, I think, many flaws I have with this film, is there's no character to really buy into. And the fact that she is a bit over the top and kind of takes me out of the movie at the beginning doesn't help me build into her character. And then Amar's character is kind of just thrown in there to be the human element we need, but there's no development with his character either, so I don't buy into it. But her powers, again, as much as they're over the top and just absolutely ridiculous, they do look cool. So, the action scenes of it do seem to be pretty cool for the most part, and some of the visuals of it are pretty cool too. this movie tries though really hard to be like a deep thinking piece, and it's just not that. It isn't, because it goes through the premise itself. I knew was going to be ridiculous. I mean, the whole 10% of your brain that only people access, which just isn't, that's not factually true. So to have that be kind of the subject for this movie, and then what happens when someone is accessing more, is ridiculous. And I knew from the trailers that her powers are completely out of the realm of possibility. So I knew that. I knew the plot itself was going to be ridiculous. But the fact that you don't connect to any characters, the fact that there's actual nature scenes in this movie, and I get what they're supposed to do, but they're only in like the first, not even third of the film, and then they drop off, was weird. And then the fact that they were there at all kind of felt weird and out of place. And to be fair, I'm a fan of nature, so I'd rather watch some of those scenes as actual films than watching this. So there you go. But there's moments, there's a lot of plot jumps where they just expect you to go with it. There's a whole deal about possible adverse effects this is having on her, but they drop it. There's a whole human aspect of it and what it means to be human, but they drop it. The animal scenes, they drop it. Her powers in general, the way that they manifest themselves, there's scenes that occur at the very beginning and you're like, wow. And then there's scenes later on that occur and you're like, yeah, I'm not as impressed as I was a bit earlier when she could just do all this, and now she's doing a little less. It's just not as impressive. And there's supposed to be this whole conflict here where you think that she could be in danger, or some of the other characters could be in danger. But given the extensive use of her power and our knowledge of her power at this point, I don't see how anything could have been a threat to her. So you lose all that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of point, and I'm trying not to spoil too much, but there's just a lot of attempts at being a deeper, more thoughtful film than what it ended up being. And as an action film, it just doesn't work, because you just don't buy it. There's no stakes. You don't buy into any of the action scenes aside from them looking cool. There's no real conflict in the movie, so there's that. There's no good acting in the movie for me, except for Min Sik, who does a great job, but he's very limited in the performance in the movie itself, so it doesn't work. There's no romance or comedy. The visuals are just visuals to be visuals, and that's it. There are plot points that are completely dropped off. So there's a few things going for this movie, but overall, I got to give it a 4 out of 10. I just wasn't impressed by it. This is one of the movies I just bought on a whim, and in this case, I'm a little disappointed I did, but I'm going to hold on to it. Maybe I'll enjoy it again at another point, but there's no sense in me, like, it doesn't feel like I need to revisit it, because I feel like I got everything I needed out of it, and it just is underwhelming. But anyway, that's my thought on it. But what did you think about it? Go ahead and comment below. Let me know. Hopefully you enjoyed this vid. Click that like button, share, subscribe to my channel, and watch my other vids. I do appreciate it. And until next time, peace.